Hey Internet, still under the weather, Greg here. I just saw Incredibles 2 and I had a great time. You should totally check the movie out. But it also had some really interesting philosophies and ideas, and it all had to do with the villain. So let's take a look. First, a quick synopsis. Elastigirl is recruited by media mogul Winston Devers in his campaign to try and make supers popular again.
We need to change people's perceptions about superheroes, and Elastigirl is our best play.
Devers' father was killed in his home by a couple of robbers, and when he tried calling his super friends, they didn't answer, mostly because they were outlawed at the time. So Devers concludes that if superheroes are legal, they can actually save a lot of people. So he recruits Elastigirl with the intention to make all superheroes accepted and legal again. This, of course, leaves Mr. Incredible to stay home with the kids, helping Violet with her boy problems and Jack's million powers. Devers wants to change the image of supers, and he does this by attaching cameras to Elastigirl so that people can see what she's seen. He's very smart, realizing that media coverage influences people, and we start seeing public approval of superheroes increase. It doesn't take long until a supervillain named Screenslaver arrives and tries to subvert Devers' mission. Screenslaver uses hypnosis to control people, to sabotage this entire mission, and makes supers so unpopular that they stay illegal forever. Screenslaver sees superheroes as a crutch, something where people expect to be saved by them and suddenly aren't self-reliant and can't think for themselves. And this got me thinking, is Screenslaver correct? First, she uses screens to hypnotize people like zombies, and that should sound familiar because if you look around in today's world, everybody is looking down on their smartphones in a very similar way. In fact, you could probably even argue that people are addicted to their phones. But is Screenslaver's argument just regulated to screens? No, not really. The bigger argument is, does modern technology make us complacent and stops us from thinking for ourselves and being self-reliant? Instead of superheroes, we have smartphone apps where we can order our groceries and call for a car and even walk our dogs without having to do it ourselves. So does Screenslaver have a point? According to Nicholas Carr, yes, she does. Carr argues that the internet is making us stupider and lazy. And in his book, The Glass Door, his primary example are pilots. Pilots now use autopilot a lot. And so what does that do? It makes their skills rusty because they're not practicing and using those skills more often. Similarly, in The Incredibles 2, instead of going to a safe room, Devers' father tries to call his superhero friends. He's not thinking for himself or thinking what is the most logical thing for him to do. He's just relying on something else, which leads to him being shot by these robbers. And a 2015 study by the University of Waterloo actually looked at people's laziness and their smartphone use, and actually found that there is a strong correlation between high cell phone use and being just lazy thinkers. So this thought isn't actually that crazy. And this isn't the first time that Pixar has done something like this. If you look at their film WALL-E, it was all about how technology is making us lazy and complacent and has stopped us from thinking for ourselves. And this manifests itself even more in Incredibles 2 outside of the main story. When Jack's powers manifest, Mr. Incredible uses cookies to try and regulate the boy instead of actually being a parent.
Num num cookie, cookie, cookie.
Wow!
And while Edna, who is amazing in this film by the way, provides some help and some relief, she's actually taking some of that responsibility away from Mr. Incredible from learning how to be a better parent. So how does the film wrap this all up and concludes this idea? Well, it doesn't really, which makes this whole idea feel inconclusive and kind of a little flat. If you look at it this way, if the Incredibles are never around, then Devers doesn't recruit them, and then Screenslaver doesn't have to manifest to try and stop them. So really, the villain manifests because of the heroes. And instead of questioning whether what they're doing is right and actually saves more lives than not, they just come in and fight, which is kind of a lazy way of dealing with this, which makes this whole story even more meta. And this makes me think that Screenslaver is actually totally correct. So if you're watching this on a smartphone, put it down and go outside and go get groceries, or walk your dog, or even cook. Thanks for watching, everybody. Now I want to know what you think. Was Screenslaver right? Are we too dependent on technology? Be sure to leave your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you like this video, please hit that like button and subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching, Internet. Peace.